Uh, yes. Mike, check 1, 2. Yizzo. What's happening? Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome into another episode of Mornings with Omar. And it's me, your host, of course, Omar, aka Omeezy for short. Call me what you want, you heard, but just call me something respectfully, you heard? This is episode 18. Welcome, man. If this is your first time listening, then welcome to the party. If you're a returning listener, then you know the vibes, you know what it is, you know how we give it up here. Hope everybody's feeling good out there, doing good, living good, eating good, just doing the best they can out there because it's a tumultuous environment and world we living in. And if you don't take care of yourself, then, you're doomed to really prosper in this world. But, you know, I'm going to start here, man. I haven't really done too much as far as, keeping up with the news, keeping up what's going on. I really took this last past week, to just kind of stray away from everything and just, I read more. That's what I did. That's what I spent my time doing. I spent my time reading more books, spending less time on the internet, spending less time reading the news, and just like I said, focusing in on, just getting my mind right and being in a good place. And May is Mental Health Month, and I haven't really, I mean, I have, but I haven't really done more than I haven't done enough as I could, to say the least. But I mean, I've been doing my things. I've been working out still, and uh, you know, not being around negative energy or negative environments or things like that. But you can always improve. You can always do more, and that's what I did. That's what I took the last week off. So I don't have much to talk about today, but we're gonna talk about a few things just to give y'all something, and hopefully everybody enjoys their Memorial Day weekend and spends time just having a good time. So uh, I guess I'll start here with, I always feel like I bring things up, and I may not always bring solutions up when I bring, things up as well. And I mean that in, like, when I'm speaking on relationships, I want to be more, not only bring up things that happen, experiences that I've seen or witnessed or things like that, but I also want to make people aware of, things that they may not be aware of. So I just wanted to talk about a couple relationship things that can hinder, your relationship from growing, prospering, etc. So there's like four common things that a good doctor named Dr. John Gottman, he came up with. He called it like the four horsemen for like the downfall of a relationship. And one of the things I'm gonna just go ahead and start it out, man. So we're gonna start out with relationships today. One of the things is stonewalling, and I don't know if anybody ever heard of these things. If you have, then you know where I'm going with this. If not, then just sit back and listen up, man. So if you're in a relationship or you've been in a relationship and you experience these things, then now you're just more aware of what they are and how you can overcome these things, okay? So the first one I'm going to start with is stonewalling, like I said. And this happens when, let's say you're trying to communicate with your partner about something that they did, and basically what they're doing is just not responding to you. They're not answering you. You ever been in that situation when, your partner's yelling at you, why the fuck did you follow this girl back? Or why the fuck did you not answer my call when that simple thing. Maybe they're cursing, maybe they're not, who knows. But anyway, and the person that is doing the yelling, continues to yell, or not yell, or just, ask them questions. They don't even have to be yelling. And then the other person on the receiving end just sits there quietly. They don't respond, they don't answer. Or let's say, for instance, the partner is expressing their frustrations with you. I'm not happy, and whatever. And you just sit there, like I said, quietly, not responding, not giving any feedback or anything. That's stonewalling, okay? When you're just not allowing a person in, or you're just not, like I said, responding back. So, the formula to just fix that, or a solution to fix that, is to just, listen in and hear what the other person has to say. And don't be a dickhead, man. Don't be that person that just, don't is not listening to their significant other, not paying attention to them, not caring what they have to say. Because that's just going to make them feel unworthy. Like how they feel doesn't matter, where they're coming from, their perspective doesn't matter. So you definitely don't want to be that person, you know. So another one of the little downfalls things is called contempt, and contempt is like contempt is it's like using your superiority against the other person, you know, and it comes out as like you could being sarcastic or being cynical or mocking the other person, eye rolling, that sort of thing. Not really respecting the other person at all and like where they come from. So, you know, the way to alleviate that is just build a relationship where appreciation is like is the basis of the relationship, you know. A third, and these aren't in any particular order. A third downfall and contempt. My bad. Let me go back. Contempt, they say, is the biggest predictor of the relationship failing. So if you have contempt in your relationship, then that's the biggest predictor for, you know, if one of the partners is, you know, acting superior, mocking another person, being sarcastic all the time, name calling them, then more than likely that relationship's going to fail at some point. The third thing is criticism, and I think this goes without saying. You know, attacking a person's character, you know, just criticizing them all the time, telling them that, you know, whatever, they're not good enough, whatever, that sort of thing. Then, you know, that's also one of the downfalls for relationships. And then the third one, what I say, contempt. I said criticism. I said stonewalling. The fourth one, last one, is let me think what it's called. Contempt, criticism, stonewalling, and man, it's a C word. Why am I blanking on it right now? Defensiveness. That's what it is. Okay, so this is obviously, you know, just being defensive and you know, switching blame to the other person. Oh, it's your fault, or you know, people just that defensive thing. It's also the same like defense mechanisms. You know, you just kind of automatically do it without really thinking and blaming the other person for whatever, or just I did this because of that, or I did this because of this. You know, so that's the defensiveness in it, and this is also one of the predictors of the relationship failing. And these are really like communication styles, like negative communication styles in a relationship. So if someone's like communicating in a contempt way or defensive way or criticizing way or stonewalling way, then these things are just going to predict the relationship to fail. And if you don't want your relationship to fail and you notice these patterns or these behaviors in your partner or in yourself, then you want to kind of, like I said, do the things that are opposite of that, you know. So if you're stonewalling and you're not opening up and you're just sitting there quietly, try to, you know, say, hey, thanks for trying. I understand where you're coming from, or, you know, just try to do something to where you're acknowledging the other person. If you're criticizing the person, your partner, then obviously don't criticize them and validate what they're saying, what they're feeling. Contempt, you know, just don't be that person that's, you know, always being sarcastic, name calling your partner, or you know, just being a douche, being a dickhead. And don't be defensive when you do something wrong, or if someone is bringing something to your attention. You know, just look at it as a way to improve. Look at it as a way to get better and grow and be a better person, you know. So yeah, man, those are some of the relationship things I want to talk about, because I feel like I've been in that position before. I've probably never been a criticizer, but I definitely been defensive before. I definitely stonewalled before, and I definitely I probably been contempt too at some points. You know, just being sarcastic, name calling, that sort of thing. Back in my younger days, back when I didn't really know better, but the more you know, the more you know, the better you're supposed to do. And that's what I try to do. The more I know, I try to apply these things and just be a better person, grow as a person, and, you know, just hopefully I can help others and that sort of thing. So, you know, aside from relationships, you know, hopefully everybody's happy and they're doing well in theirs and they're trying to build relationships and that sort of thing. But another thing that kind of hinders us in our just everyday lives is our thinking biases, or biases. I think that's how you actually say it correctly, biases. So yeah, I was in this class before, and I think I may have mentioned it or may have not have. I don't know, can't remember. But there's some thinking biases that I want to talk about that just kind of that you don't even notice that you do, but they happen very commonly. All right. And the first one is called the evaluative bias of language, and this is really in the way that we speak and the word choices that we use. Okay, so you don't even really realize this either. This is kind of like an unconscious thing. So, you see someone doing something. Let's say you're at work, right, and you see one of these hardworking people that are. You see one of your coworkers just going above and beyond to get the job done. And how I see it, I may look at this guy like, yo, this guy's a suck up. He's an ass kisser, or one of the teacher's pets or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But someone else can see it as though he's a dedicated worker. He's efficient, or he's just goes above and beyond. So it's kind of in the word choices you use. You know what I mean? And these words that you use, it will affect how you view it. You know what I mean? So let's say, in another example is, let's say there's a problem, there's a problem, and you say, "Man, I'm stuttering and shit. I hate stuttering," but you can look at the problem as an issue, or you can look at the problem as a challenge. So like I said before, it's in your word choices, the words that you use. You can look at someone as a conformist, or you can look at them as adaptive. It just kind of, or flexible. It kind of goes as whatever word choice you use is how you're viewing it, and it's also a biased way of how you think, because like I said, your word choices reflect how you're thinking. So that's called evaluative bias of language. So the word choices you use kind of goes, and hopefully I wasn't speaking in the mic, but it's just subjective, and it's all about perspective, but it's also can go on, like I said, how you see things. Another thinking bias is the reification era, and this kind of is like when you invent something, give it a word, and you think like it exists in real life. So I think most people do this, and this isn't like a knock against anyone, but to reify is to like invent something or a concept, and then convince yourselves that it exists. So like self-esteem, for example. Self-esteem isn't really a tangible thing that you can touch, that you could buy, that you can order from Amazon or anything. But it's something that people invented. People invented self-esteem. They invented this concept. They gave it a name, and now that people act like it exists in the world, like, oh, he's full of self-esteem, or she lacks self-esteem, or, but it doesn't really exist. It's just something it's a concept that people invented. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some concepts are, as long as they're useful, then it's all good. I mean, I think they call it the utility. So if a concept has utility, then, as science says, then it's fine to exist in the world. So self-esteem is useful because if someone's always down and things like that, then you can kind of gauge like, okay, they need to boost their self-esteem by doing this, that, and the third, So as long as it's useful, those things are fine. And there's different types of concepts. So there's like concepts that are, ones are called type E and the other ones are called type C. So I'm not going to get into that because that's just more shit that y'all don't even really need to know about. But some is like confirmable things, and others are just like things that, you use in terms of accuracy. But we ain't even going to go there. So those are the first of the two thinking biases, things like that. Another one that I just want to touch on is called the nominal fallacy. And this is, it kind of goes, it's like speaking in circles. So say for instance, someone has a problem with stealing, and you ask, hey, why is that person always stealing? And then the response is, oh, because he's a thief. Well, but you didn't really explain anything. You just said what I said in different words. So this is kind of like called a nominal fallacy slash speaking in tautology. So it's saying the same thing over, but not saying anything different. You're not explaining anything. So, oh, why can't he sleep at night? Oh, because he has insomnia. Well, that's not. I mean, it's saying the same thing just in different words. I mean, so and people tend to do this. I've done this before. I'm probably still guilty of it because, like I said, we do these things, and most of the time it's unconsciously. You just subconsciously you just do it. It just happens. You don't realize you're doing it. Why is it so hot outside? Oh, because the sun's out. Well, obviously, if it's hot outside, the sun's probably out. But even then, even if the sun wasn't out, it's still not explaining anything, and that's what it is. Like you're just not explaining anything. And it's like what you're saying is a guaranteed answer, and it can't be proven false. So you're saying something as though this is it and this is why, but really, that's not really explaining anything. Okay, got it. Good. Probably the last one I'll talk about, or there's probably two more I'll talk about. The one is called naturalistic fallacy. So I just talked about nominal fallacy, but this one's called naturalistic fallacy, and this is kind of blurring the lines of what's good, of what something is and what it ought to be, and people, a lot of people tend to do this. What's normal is supposed to be good. What's abnormal is supposed to be bad. What's that sort of thing. So it's like oh, if everyone's doing something, then it must be good. So like for example, everybody's getting a vaccine. Well, not everybody, but 50% of Americans are getting a vaccine. So that means it must be a good idea to get the vaccine. So that's kind of like the naturalistic fallacy. Believing that what's normal is good, and let's say like only black people really listen to rap music, so rap music must be bad. Because there's this impression and there's this interpretation that black people are a certain way, but obviously that's false because hip hop music, rap music is like the leading genre of music. So it obviously can't be bad if it's leading in creating a culture as well. So that's naturalistic fallacy. And also, just because something is abnormal doesn't mean it's bad or good. It's just, it's just how you see things. And if you're more informed and you have details, you have context, then you can actually make that determination: what's good, what's bad. And realistically, it's probably what's good for you. What's bad for you, it's not. You can't make it a totality thing of, oh, it's bad for everyone, because that's just not true as well. And the last thinking bias I'll speak on is called the Barnum effect. There's like 7 of them, but I think I talked about maybe 5 of them or maybe 4. But the Barnum effect is like thinking that something uniquely applies to you, so this can be like your horoscope, for example. And I know this is going to crush a lot of people who believe in horoscopes, and maybe you do believe in horoscopes for whatever reason, astrology, that sort of thing. But horoscopes particularly, let's say you get your little notification for your horoscope today, and it says whatever the hell it says. Today you will rise and good things will happen if you focus on it, So you read that and then you think, oh man, this really must apply to me, and I got to really focus on whatever I need to focus on because good things are going to happen today. So once you believe that this horoscope uniquely applies to just you, then you're subject to the Barnum effect because it's just not true. The horoscope is not speaking just to you. So it's personalizing an interpretation about a thing or a group or whatever, and when it could apply to all humans. So just if you work hard, then you will reap the benefits of your hard work. If you get that horoscope, you're like, oh man, that means I gotta work hard today. But really, that can apply to virtually everyone in this planet. So yeah, man, just some little information, just a little education on some shit, man. I've been reading and shit, like I said, man, and I'm just trying to spread this knowledge as well. But like I said, man, I haven't really done too much. But aside from that, listen, I do want to say, rest in peace to Mr. George Floyd, who, just a couple days ago, it was the 1 year anniversary of his murder. So, rotten hell, Derek Chauvin, as you should. And yeah, man, hopefully something can change in the future so we can live a more comfortable, a more equal, a more righteous life without these civil servants that are supposed to protect us and supposed to, look after us. Hopefully, some things change, some laws change, but it's probably really realistically not likely. And realistically, we really in this, for speaking for black people, well, not for all black people, but just speaking on, what I mean. We just got to do better, man, and we gotta. I'm not blaming us for what happened to George Floyd. Obviously not. Like I said, rest in peace to that man. And prayers to his kids and his family, who have to continuously, live with, this always being brought up and being a national spotlight and having policies named after him and just having to relive, that traumatic event that we all saw on TV and the news, on social media, etc. But one of the things that we can do as black people is really stick together and govern our own communities and just be there for one another, because we really have to get back to being a community. And I may have iterated this on the last episode, but it's just imperative that we do it, because we can't rely on people that aren't us to have our best interests. We can't be the minority in this country, and by minority I mean we're just outnumbered. There's white people who are creating honorary white people, and there's other ethnic groups that are getting ahead of us. And we've been here the longest. We've been here in this country longer than anyone. As far as prior to slavery, pre-Columbus, black people were here, and with our ways of living and loving others and being forgiving and just loving a neighbor, and our ways of life isn't you can't compare it to the ways that other people are living. We're a different breed. We're special, and we come from a place of love and giving, at the end of the day. So these other people out here, these other groups, they're sticking together. Jews are sticking with Jews. They have, you can go to New York, or you can go to California, you can go to any of these little cities or whatever, and you can go to fucking Koreatown or Chinatown or I don't know what they call it, Jewish towns, but they have their whole groups, their whole communities in these areas, and no one's saying, oh, they're wrong for this. No one's saying that you can't have and I know we had these things before. We had Tulsa, we had Harlem, we had these cities that were thriving, and obviously people in different positions, they ain't like it, and they were hating, and they wanted to set us back a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but we always overcome. No one like us has ever overcame the things that we had to overcome. 400 plus years of just overcoming. And we can still do it. Now we're in a position to where nothing can really stop us from overcoming. Yeah, we'll have some hiccups and we'll have some bumps in the road, but now it's a spotlight. You know what I mean? If we build a community like we had before, like a Tulsa, like a Black Harlem, from when the Harlem Renaissance was, you can't just go in there and destroy that like they did in the past. You can't just go in there and bomb it like they did in the past, because now it's going to be real odds on you. It's going to be like, yo, y'all really, people going to really see what they doing to us. So now I feel like now is the perfect time to do it. Now is the time to really come together, build these communities like these other groups have communities, build up our cities, build up our towns. We know everyone that's here. We know everyone that, if I need a haircut, I can obviously go down the street to my barber. If we need to get our own doctors, we need to get our own nurses. People got to start thinking about, us as a group instead of us as individuals, because we're stronger together. Just like You can't go into a fucking Koreatown and buy one of them buildings because the Koreans probably own all them shits. We need to have the same type of mindset. We got to have our cities, our communities. Like, you can't come in here and buy something because we own all this, and we ain't selling out for a couple $100,000 because, we got to look at it as though it's bigger than all of us, My little measly, let's say I have a shop, and it's in a city surrounded by, white establishments or other establishments, that can easily be, I don't really have no power in that, you know what I mean? But let's say on the whole strip is nothing but black-owned businesses. Now you really cooking with grease because now we have some power. Now we have, some togetherness. And we got to have that type of thing going forward. And like I said, I think I told y'all last podcast, I've been reading the book Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. And, he's a smart man, real smart man. And he speaks about this stuff. He speaks about how, we really lack in togetherness. And I think that's pretty obvious as well. But, racism is an economic thing. It's all about economics, And once we understand that, it's all about wealth. It's all about money. It's about the economy. It's about having communities that thrive where people can't come and take over or people aren't selling out and people are shopping black and buying black and staying everything black. And I don't really care if this rubs any of the listeners the wrong way because y'all have y'all shit. If you're not black, you got your thing. If you're white, you got plenty of shit that you can go to. If you're Asian, shout out to the Asian listeners, the Japan listeners. I know y'all out there. Y'all have whole continents that are thriving and y'all come here as immigrants and y'all get treated as though y'all are first class citizens, and there's no knock against y'all. Kudos to y'all. It's the land of the free. You know what I mean? So I hope that you can come here and make something of yourself. And I'm not ever telling you that you shouldn't or you couldn't, because I respect all Asians. I've been to Korea. I spent a year there when I was in the military, and I love Asians, bro. Like, I love them. I love their culture. I mean, two things could be true. More than one thing could be true. I can love Asians and I can love black people just the same. I can love black people a little more because I'm black, as I should. Likewise to anyone else from a different ethnic background. But I say all that to say, we can't be scared to be us, to succeed, to thrive, and to overcome, as we've been doing, Dr. Claude Anderson in the book, he talks about, impediments to our, to us just, being better, being where we need to be in this competitive world of just competing. And, yeah, man, so we really got to build and accept and support our culture, our culture. Everything really comes from culture. A lot of things come from it. So, European culture excels because of European culture, and it's broad, it's mainstream, it's out there in your face. Hamburgers and hot dogs and shit like that. And fucking whatever else European culture consists of. I don't fucking know. Beer and pizza and football and whatever, And then you have Hispanic culture, and everyone loves that. Everyone loves the food and loves the music and dancing and shit like that. And Asian culture with fucking, cool fashion and K-pop and the food as well and shit like that. Everyone loves these other cultures, and then they try to treat black culture, African American culture like it's not a thing or like it's a bad thing. But really, we have all the good shit too. We're the best entertainers. We're the best dancers. We're the best musicians. We're best in. We would be best in business if we had that economic, that place where we need to be. I mean, there's no black billionaires. Well, there's a couple, but billionaires like 10 billion, 20 billion. We don't have none of them billionaires, and it's set that way because once people get into a certain position, then it's like, I don't know, people start hating and people be like, oh man, the person already has enough money. And I know that there's leaders and there's black people that get in positions of power, or they just become idolize, and they don't always give back, and they don't always do what they're supposed to do for the people. But as a people, that's something we have to do. We have to always look back and give us, even if you're not going to like donate, you don't have to donate the money. Just give us the tools, the resources that we need in order to succeed. And that's one of the things that's holding us back, because we don't have the resources, we don't have the tools, and more importantly, we don't have the information. And another more importantly thing is we not respecting ourselves or loving ourselves and loving our culture and loving where we come from. You know what I mean? Because we're conditioned not to. And you got to understand that you've been brainwashed. You've been conditioned to think that, you ain't good enough. You've been conditioned to think that you came from a broke-ass continent of Africa, and you came from nothing. And, you just got here 400 years ago, 2 years ago. But you got to know that, the richest man in the history of this world was an African man, from Morocco, I believe, or not Morocco, one of them, I think Western countries in Africa. I can't remember. But yeah, man, you got to know that those pyramids didn't build themselves, They didn't just fall out the sky and land there. You got to know that, there was kings and queens dating all the way back, way back. You got to know that, it was Africans that taught the Greeks everything that they know, because Egypt and Greece is right there next to each other, So that's where, and you got to know that all the fucking things you see in the museums and the artifacts and all that shit is stolen African culture that's just spread around the world. You got to, and if you don't know, then you just been misinformed. And another thing is like, they really trying to, I heard the other day, and I think it was like 10 states or some shit or something, or Texas, like they took the word slavery out of like a lot of their textbooks, So they're trying to really erase the history of black people altogether, and that's been the agenda. All the fucking whitewashing that's happened and went on, in paintings. I heard in the pyramids in Africa that they're whitening the faces on the pyramids, like inside of them, trying to give it lighter color. But these people were black as hell. These people had, melanin skin and big noses and melanin features, and and you can't take that stuff away. You can go to Italy and see African statues, African castles, and Moorish castles and shit like that. You can go to Europe and see it. You can go to Russia and see it. You can go to fucking Asia and see it. Wherever, everywhere you go in this world, there's hints of Africa in there. There's hints of African features or melanin features. So, yeah, man, it's not gonna just be one of us that do it. It has to be a collective. It has to be a group. We have to get back to the group vision and group goals and not selling out and not, apologizing for white people. You can't be a white apologist. You got to live like you're the best thing smoking. Since the best thing since sliced bread. You can't carry yourself. You can't change yourself. Don't be someone that you're not. Don't get around white people and act like you're fucking Brian Gumble or some shit. Just be you, and if they accept it, then they accept it, and if not, then you don't need them. That's how I feel, and that's how I live, because I know that me, myself, and my brain, I can get anything done if I want to get it done. I can achieve anything as long as I put the effort forward. We're not going to get no handouts. We're not getting reparations. All the things that was promised to us, we're not getting it. All right, so we got to rely on each other. I know a lot of people, and I try to resort to them when I need something. If I know someone is a good hairstylist, I'm going to go to them. If I know someone that, whatever the situation is, if I know somebody that's black that does it, I try to support them first, If that black person can't give me what I need, I'll go to a different black person, because I know that somebody has the answers. We know too many people that does too many things that's good with their hands, good with their brains, good with makeup, good with fucking hair, good with, fixing cars, whatever. Construction. I know all these people, and I always try to go to these people before I even go outside of our circle. Our circle of trust that it is. And we got to live like that because we got to empower one another. We got to uplift one another, and we can't forget about each other. And more importantly, we can't sell out. We can't sell out because it's only going to make it harder for the next person to come through. If I build a good business and I build a brand that all the black people in my city goes to and uses, and then some white company tries to come and buy me out, and then, if I sell out, then sooner or later they're going to start, watering down what I'm doing. They're going to start watering down my products. They're going to start catering to bigger audiences, and that's what another one of the impediments of getting ahead, because they made all the black issues people team up with these other groups, whether it's gay rights or whether it's women rights or whether it's immigrants or whatever. Once we start teaming up with other people, then now our issue becomes everyone's issue. And then everyone's issue is going to get everyone else's issue is going to get addressed, and our issue is going to get pushed back. So we can't do that. We can't team up with non-black groups whose goals isn't black directed, black oriented. We can't go, like I said, and I support rights for everyone. I truly do. I have gay family members. I have trans family members, and I hope that, their goals get met. Brother's calling me. Hope their goals get met, But as far as black people goes, those goals need to be addressed first and foremost before anyone else's goals, in my eyes, in my opinion. And honestly, if you're serious about, getting ahead for black people, then that has to be your same mentality. It has to be as a group. It has to be as a people. And, I really just recommend anyone that's serious about, trying to help not only yourself but your fellow African American people, then get the book Powernomics, yo. It's like $10 on Amazon for real, and it has a lot of information in there. I didn't finish reading it, but like I said, I have been reading it, and it's really giving me the perspective and the mindset to take things to where they need to go. So get that book, Claude Anderson, Powernomics, National Plan to Empower Black America. And he wrote this a minute ago, and this was supposed to be something that he wanted done by like 2005, but I don't, we're always distracted, and that's one of the things that he talks about in the book, and that's one of the reasons why I just haven't really been paying attention to the news this last past week, because all the news is controlled by white media, and all they do is traumatize black people by the things that they show on there. And until we really get like our own media company, or find a way to, get daily news out that's by us for us, then we can't really rely on white media to do the things that it needs us to do, because it's only going to show things from their perspective and how they want it to be shown and seen. So I definitely took a break, and I definitely scaled back on my news intake, my social media, behaviors and things like that, because things got to change. If you don't change, then nothing changes. And if you always see things from one point of view, one perspective, then you're not seeing a full picture. And that's something I also learned in just being in college, different perspectives. And that's also one of the thinking biases as well. It's called consider the opposite. And I ain't say that one because I think it goes without saying, but you always got to think about the opposite in any situation. If you're thinking of something, you see something for what it is, or you like, I should do things this way. Think about it the other way, the opposite way, another way. See things from a different perspective, just to give you different insight onto, whatever it is that you're looking at or contemplating on or making a decision on, So yeah, man, I've been reading, and that's what I've been doing the past week. I haven't really watched any shows, any movies, because I just felt as though I just need to take this time to really just get back to I just need to get in a different mindset, going forward. I have been catching up with sports. I have been watching the NBA playoffs, and I think that's where we'll transition now. So listen, man, it's been interesting. As far as awards, you know, Jordan Clarkson got the Sixth Man of the Award from the Utah Jazz. I figured that. Julius Randle got Most Improved, as I figured as well. I don't think they announced any other awards yet. So yeah, that's where we at now. Playoffs have started. Everybody's about at 2 games now, and where we stand now is let's go through them. In the West, we got Clippers down 0-2 to the Mavs. Luka Doncic is looking super unstoppable in that game in the playoffs against them. They just had no answer for him, and the Mavs is in not the Mavs. The Clippers is in trouble. I think they'll probably get a game in Dallas, but I think they'll probably end up losing 4 games to 1. And Kawhi might leave. I don't know. I don't know if he'll stay there. I think he can leave from his contract after this year. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. The Jazz and Grizzlies, they're tied up 1-1. Jazz blew them out last night or Wednesday night. And that's a series I can see going 7 games as well. Just based off, I feel like what they said, the Grizzlies was the number 1 team in the paint. The Jazz got 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. So, it's going to be a back and forth. Ja Morant's balling still. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. I knew he's a problem. I'm definitely a fan, and I want to get one of them Ja Morant jerseys for real because some shit is hard, as well as one of them Devin Booker jerseys, the Valley Jones. I don't know if y'all seen them for my sports heads out there, but yeah, Suns, Lakers, they tied 1-1. Chris Paul got hurt again. He can't stay healthy in the playoffs for whatever reason it is. So I'm seeing that probably be wrapped up like 4-2. I can see the Suns getting another game, but I think the Lakers are finishing 6. But still, with the way they're playing, I just don't see them making it to the finals, man. I still like Portland, but after watching the last Portland and Denver game, I like Denver too. Like Denver is really, if Portland can get past Denver, Portland. Well, obviously if they get past Denver, but when or if they get past Denver, I see him going all the way. Because outside of Jokic, who's really like, I can see why he could get MVP of the year. He played every game of the season, and just watching him in the playoffs, like he's a game changer. He really facilitates the offense at times. He really rebounds. He shoots. He's in the paint. He got post moves. He don't play no defense. That's why I really want to give it to Joel Embiid because he at least plays defense. But I like Jokic, and I see why he'll probably end up getting MVP because he just transforms the whole entire landscape of the game. But Denver, if Portland gets past them, they're going to the finals because I can see Portland dusting LA, both LA teams. And the Jazz, if they came to that, I can see them beating the Suns. I can see them beating everybody. They just got to get past Denver. And that series is tied 1-1. Lakers is 1-1. Grizzlies 1-1. And Mavs is up 2-0. On the East side, Sixers is looking good. They up 2-0. Russell Westbrook got popcorn poured on his head. He wanted to fight the dude. I think the fans probably end up getting banned for that. But that's Philly, yo. Philly's crowd, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the Sixers, they savages, yo. They ruthless. They different, yo. Philly's different because PA's different, and we don't really fuck with the ops, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Philly's looking good in the driver's seat, 2-0. They'll probably more than likely sweep them 4-0, get them out of here. Bradley Beal's nice, though. I mean, if the Lakers could have got Bradley Beal somehow, man, that shit would have been scary because he really like a top scorer in the league now. Like, he's up there with Harden. He's up there with Durant. He's up there with Steph. Like, he can shoot. He can drive, get to the bucket, finish with either hand. I like Bradley Beal, man. I really do. But they'll probably end up getting swept just because they can't deal with Joel, man. They can't deal with Tobias Harris. He's balling. Ben Simmons is, what can you do? He's a beast, too. So, Seth Curry, he did get hurt, though, last game. I seen him limping off the court like an ankle injury. So, hopefully, Sixers are going to need him to make a long run because he's a shooter and they need that. The Heat, they just got blown out by the Bucks, but the Bucks shot crazy. They made like 23s or some crazy shit. So I hopefully that series goes seven. Hopefully that the Heat could just get their shots falling and Jimmy Butler can get right, because they haven't really been healthy all year, honestly. So I want to see it go seven, but I feel like the Heat might really go out in like 4-1, 4-2, because the Bucks is just Chris Middleton's like the closer, and he's nice, yo. He's a nice dude. So I feel like that pickup of Drew Holiday really kind of set the that three-headed monster. It's not like Brooklyn's three-headed, but it's a solid three-headed monster, and they got good defense. So it's going to be interesting, but I see Milwaukee getting past them. Brooklyn is looking like the juggernaut that they are. Tatum got hurt last game, so Brooklyn's up 2-0, and they'll probably be straight to the conference finals. And last but not least, man, the Knicks, my Knicks, they tied the series up with the Hawks, 1-1. Julius Randle, he still hasn't really played well yet, but once he gets shit going, once he gets right, I can really see, the Knicks taking off, because the Knicks beat them 3-0 in the regular season, so that's why they got the 4th seed and the Hawks got the 5th seed. So once Julius Randle gets his shot going and he starts making shots, Knicks is going to take off. They'll probably win 4-2, or maybe 4-1. It just depends when Randle gets his shot right. So, that's that for the NBA playoffs. I'm looking forward to the games this weekend. That'll probably be the only other thing I do, besides, just cooling with friends and family from Memorial Day weekend and just, vibing out, getting things going. Another book that I've been reading for my men out there, it's called Way of the Superior Man. I read this book a couple years ago when I was living in Virginia, and I just something told me to, like, hey, you should just probably reread this book, and I did. I started to reread it. The author, let me tell y'all the author's name. His name is David Deida, Deida. The Way of the Superior Man, and it's kind of just like a way for men to just be men and understand how you should move and maneuver in this world, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to dealing with women, when it comes to dealing with yourself and your fears and overcoming, being true to yourself and living in it. And I just think it's a great read, and I remember the reason I even came across the book is I seen the Nipsey Hussle interview, rest in peace Nipsey, when he was on the Breakfast Club a couple years ago, and he spoke about it. He said, he read this book and it changed his life. And I read the book around that same time, and it definitely helped, and it gave me a little like a boost, to just everything. But that was a couple years ago, and after the pandemic, shit just got weird. Shit got fuzzy for all of us, me included. So I wanted to reread it, and I started to read it. And you could jump around. You don't have to read one chapter. You don't have to follow it in order. It's a book where you can read chapter 4, then read chapter 2, then read chapter 6, then 1. Because each chapter is dedicated to its own thing. It has its own. Like I said, its goals. So yeah, it's a good read, man, and I think everyone should definitely go ahead and buy it. It's cheap on Amazon. Like, this is another, like, one of them $10 books. Barnes and Nobles, wherever you buy books. You can even, if you got one of the little, I got this app on my phone. It's called Scribd, Scribd, and they have a lot of books on there, and I also buy books, but I also use this app because it's like an audio library, not audio library, like a digital library of mad books. You know what I mean? I told y'all before, I'm reading this book that's like fucking $1,200 book on Amazon, but it's on this app for free. I mean, you just gotta subscribe to it. It's like $8 a month, $7 a month, but you have access to mad books. So that's, to me, that's a good deal, because books are expensive. So yeah, man. I just been reading. Like I said, that's what I've been doing. I've been still reading that The Greatest Story Never Told by Lana Cantrell. And that book is so long. It's going to take probably a a couple months to finish it, and it's a digital book, so that's why I feel like it's gonna take me a while because I like books in my hand. I like books that I could just flip through the pages and shit. But some people they like Kindles. They can just read through mad pages and shit like that. But for me, I just can't do it. But to each his own. Yeah, man. But listen, I ain't gonna keep y'all here too long. It's the weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm gonna just give y'all these last few things, and then we gonna get up out of here. So first, if you're hearing this, then the clothing line will be released. The lifestyle collection at Gia's shop, gia.org, GIAH. I'm gonna have everything on there this weekend, probably Saturday or Sunday. We're gonna go live with it. So yeah, just be prepared. You can definitely shop. I could ship all in the United States. If you're overseas, listen, I'll send it out there too, man. For real. If you're gonna buy it, I'm gonna send it to you. And if you support me, I'm gonna support you. And yeah, if you buy something, just tag me in it, or tag Gia's in it. Tag Shop Gia on Instagram, Gia's GIAH on Facebook, or leave a review, whatever you want to do. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's just gonna be live, man. It's gonna be lit. You gotta get it while you can, because right after this, we on to the next collection, and we carrying on, man. So follow me if you listen to on the podcast on Podbean. Just so you know, we got to play these numbers games, and the way we gonna grow and expand is we got to have the numbers for all this shit. I see the listeners every week. I appreciate y'all, everybody that listens. But we got to play the numbers game too. So, it costs you nothing. Just go ahead and give me a follow, a like on Podbean. Give me a follow on wherever you listen to. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow on Instagram, not on Instagram, on YouTube. I got all the videos up on YouTube. Omeezy TV. Just put that in the search bar, or search Mornings with Omar in the search bar, and then subscribe. Like I said, these things cost you nothing, and this is the way that we all gonna grow and we gonna build. I subscribe to everybody's YouTube channel. You tell me to subscribe to it, I subscribe because I know how the numbers work and I know how the game go. And unless you can't even make no money off YouTube if you don't have like 1,000 subscribers, so you need these things in order to, they set it up like this, I don't know why, but you can have 1 million views on the video, but you can't monetize it off of it if you ain't got the subscribers and you ain't got like the listener hours and shit like that. So I'm gonna try to get the YouTube popping for sure. If you want to listen on YouTube, uploading the videos as we speak. Soon come the pod videos. I know I've been saying that a while, but I really want to focus on, just getting the hardware first before I get the sound. Before I get the visuals. Just so, I feel like it's a better, because people listen more than they watch. At least that's how it's been so far, but I guess it's really been the only option. So people will probably watch more, but the videos is coming soon, man. They are. And, I just appreciate y'all for still listening and checking me out and bearing with me while we just get shit off the ground, because we still early. We under 20 episodes. This is only, 17 or something like that. So, there's podcasts out there with hundreds of episodes, fucking thousands of episodes, and we just getting started, And I see everybody out there that's starting podcasts, and start them up, man, because if you're interested, if you got a good point of view, you got a good perspective, people gonna listen and people gonna check it out. This podcast is an example of it. So, really whatever you want to do, just put your all into it, and don't hesitate. You gotta believe in yourself, and you gotta know that it's gonna pay off as long as you keep putting the work in. Some weeks is better than others, some months are better than others, some years are better than others, but you gotta just keep working, because it's all gonna work out, So yeah, just give me a follow, give me a subscribe, follow me on the Instagram page, Mornings with Omar, or my personal page, ohh.omar. Shopgia.org. We're gonna be popping this weekend. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Make sure you take care of your mental health. Not just for May, but for the rest of the year. Travel if you can. Things are opening up. Everything's opening up for real. Everything is like, we about to hit that time where shit's where shit's good now. Um, Make sure you exercise because health is wealth, and if you don't exercise, some type of routine, if not every day, then every other day, then you're setting yourself up for the long run because good health at 25, at 30 means good health at 40, means good health at 60. As long as you keep up a good healthy routine, eating right. I'm gonna try to do like cut back my sugar intake. That's one of the things that I've been just hearing about and people doing little challenges, no sugar challenge, whatever. I ain't gonna do no sugar, but I'm gonna definitely try to cut it back substantially because I want to be a healthier person. I take pride in how I look and how I present myself to others and how people see me. Well, I don't really care how people see me as long as I know that I'm putting my best, forward. Then how you perceive me is how you perceive me. But I know that it's where I want it to be. Just like I think I was talking to my brother about this or something like, you know, some women like short haircuts, some women like no beards, some women like, or not even women, just whomever. Some people like certain things, but it's not always about that. It's about what I like, and how I like it. What I like is what I like, and that's how I always want to live my life, is about what I like. And I'm always open for feedback. I'm always open for, things, for people to say things so I can find ways to improve. But at the end of the day, I'm only going to do what I like, and I'm going to take what people say as ways to improve, And another thing we have coming is Gia Care, and this will also be on shopgia.org. You can actually look at it now. I got some services coming where, we're going to have some babysitting services for people, locally. And then we're going to have like yoga classes. I'm going to start yoga classes in about a month where you can come join a yoga class every day if you want, or you can have one-on-one sessions with me. I'm looking to, bring other people on board to I want another preferably female yoga instructor to also run the class with me. More people that want to babysit and shit like that, because people, need sitters for, an hour or 2 hours out the day or overnight or whenever. People always need somebody to watch their kids real quick. And we're going to be certified people. You can't really be a certified babysitter, but, have background checks done, have the FBI fingerprint done, have all them right clearances that you need. I know what you need because I used to work with kids all the time, and I'm actually, just looking to do more back with kids again after I get all this shit off the ground. So, people going to have all the clearances that they need. You get your kids, your adults, your elder fucking people that you need looked after, because we're not just babysitting kids, but we could babysit your grandparents, or you could just babysit your home, or pet sitting, whatever you need. We could do it, and we're going to be trustworthy to do it. It's just going to be me and a couple others. So what I say, we had the sitter services, got yoga services, yoga classes, fitness instructors services, if you need help just getting in shape. Life coaching, I'm going to be doing some life coaching services if you need just some one-on-one help of how to just formalize, your goals and organize them, and, just the best approach going forward. Because, sometimes you just don't know, or sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Listen, I'm not a certified counselor or therapist quite yet, but what I can do is be a life coach for you. Just because I feel like I have a lot of experience. I've been in the military, came from poverty, grew up with 9 siblings. I've been broke many times. I ate fucking syrup sandwiches, ate fucking cereal with water. Wore the same clothes, on rotation, same shoes for the whole year. Been in and out of relationships, good ones, bad ones. I experienced death from a few different places, so I experienced the highest of the highs, the highest of joys, So, I feel like my experience is and my knowledge as well. I'm a college graduate, still in college as well, chasing other degrees. It just gives me a lot of places to draw from. So I feel like my life coaching services would be great, and it's also going to be me and my sister as well. So she's going to be a life coach as well. She's been through similar shit. She experienced, death of a parent at a very young age. And I'll let her tell her story. when if you decide to be a life coach with her, but have her as your life coach. But Gia Care is definitely going to be popping here in about a month once I get everything off the ground and rolling. Um, and Gia's is going to be the brand that you can trust. It's going to be, the place where you can literally get it all here. That's what it stands for. GIAH, get it all here. And the S is for the store. So we're going to have it all, man. We're going to have clothes, we're going to have apparel, we're going to have accessories, we're going to have swimwear, we're going to have services that we provide. And we just grown and expanded, man. And I hope that, y'all enjoy the ride and take it with me. And I'm going to definitely give back in the ways I can. I got the nonprofit coming. It's called The More You Know. And that's just going to be based on just spreading information, spreading knowledge, giving people the tools and the resources to succeed that, we wasn't having and we wasn't privy to. Going to make sure kids get to school. I'm going to try to have a service where, we can pick up kids that, have long walks to school, or, it's bad weather. And, I know parents that have to leave to work early before kids actually go to school. So I want to have services that, maybe a bus that'll just come pick up kids, take them to the school, drop them off, and possibly even take them home as well, So, making sure kids have, book bags and pencils and access to computers and access to the internet and all these things, man, because, if I'm not winning if my people ain't winning, or if all people aren't winning, or all people aren't put in a place to succeed. I feel like if I had all this information back then, I'd be a different person today. I'd probably be a millionaire today, close to a billionaire. I don't know, probably not close to a billionaire. That's an exaggeration, but I'd definitely be better off financially. But the money comes with time. I'm not doing none of this for the money. I'm doing this because I feel like I need to